Welcome back, everyone. If you love talent, surprises, and moments that give you instant goosebumps, you are in exactly the right place. Today we are diving into one of the most unforgettable performances ever seen on Britain's Got Talent. A performance that left the judges stunned, the audience screaming, and millions of viewers around the world replaying the video again and again. This is the story of the woman many fans now call the best female impressionist ever to step on the BGT stage. Britain's Got Talent has seen singers, dancers, magicians, comedians, and acts so strange they are hard to explain. But every once in a while, someone walks onto that stage and completely rewrites what people think is possible. From the very first moment she appeared, there was something different about her. Calm, confident, and smiling, she did not look nervous or unsure. She looked ready. As she introduced herself, nothing felt over the top. No dramatic speech, no emotional backstory designed to make people cry. Just a simple introduction, a friendly personality, and a quiet confidence that hinted something big was about to happen. The judges smiled politely, clearly curious but not expecting history to be made. Then the performance began. At first, the audience heard a familiar voice. Clear, controlled, and perfectly accurate. It sounded exactly like a world-famous singer. People smiled, nodded, and thought, okay, she does impressions. That is impressive. But what happened next is what turned a good audition into a legendary one. Without missing a beat, her voice changed. Instantly. A completely different singer. Different tone, different accent, different emotion. It was not just copying a voice. It was capturing the soul of each performer. The way they pronounce words, the way they breathe between lines, the tiny vocal details that most people never notice. The judges leaned forward in their chairs. The audience gasped. And then she did it again. And again. And again. Each impression flowed seamlessly into the next. No pauses. No hesitation. One global superstar after another. Pop icons, divas, chart toppers. Voices people have listened to for decades recreated perfectly by one person standing alone on a massive stage. What made this performance truly special was not just technical skill. It was storytelling through sound. Every impression came with the attitude, the confidence, and the emotional delivery of the original artist. When she sang as a powerful diva, her voice filled the room with strength. When she switched to a softer, emotional singer, the entire atmosphere changed. You could see it on the judges' faces. Shock slowly turning into disbelief. Disbelief turning into joy. Even the toughest judge, known for rarely being impressed, could not hide the smile. At one point, a judge actually laughed in pure amazement, shaking their head as if to say this cannot be real. The audience reaction was even more intense. People jumped to their feet. Some covered their mouths. Others screamed the names of the singers they recognized. It felt less like a talent show and more like a live concert featuring multiple stars, all performed by one person. What separates a good impressionist from a great one is accuracy. But what separates a great one from the best ever is connection. And that is where she truly won everyone over. She was not showing off. She was sharing joy. You could feel how much she loved music and respected the artists she was impersonating. As the performance reached its peak, she delivered her most difficult impression. A voice known worldwide for being almost impossible to copy. Powerful, emotional, and instantly recognizable. When she hit the first note, the reaction was explosive. Judges stood up. The crowd erupted. The sound of applause drowned out the music. And then it ended. For a brief moment, there was silence. The kind of silence that happens when people are trying to process what they just witnessed. Then the theater exploded with cheers. A full standing ovation. The kind performers dream of their entire lives. The judges' comments said everything. One judge called it one of the greatest auditions in the history of the show. Another said they had never seen a female impressionist with that level of control and versatility. The praise was not polite. It was genuine, emotional, even a little shocked. When the golden buzzer was pressed, it felt inevitable. Confetti filled the air as she stood there, hands shaking, tears in her eyes. Not because she expected it, but because she finally realized what she had just achieved. But the story does not end there. After the audition aired, the internet went crazy. The video spread across social media platforms at lightning speed. Millions of views in days. Reaction videos from singers, vocal coaches, and celebrities. Comments from people all over the world calling her unbelievable, unreal, and simply the best. Many viewers pointed out something important. Female impressionists rarely get the same recognition as male performers in this field. The industry has long been dominated by men. And yet here she was, proving that talent has no gender. Only dedication, passion, and skill. As the competition continued, the pressure increased. Expectations were sky high. Could she do it again? Could she top that audition? Could she prove it was not just a one-time miracle? And she did. Each performance brought new voices, new surprises, and even greater confidence. She pushed herself further, choosing harder impressions and blending them into creative arrangements that felt fresh and exciting. She was not repeating herself. She was evolving. Behind the scenes, her journey was years in the making. Endless hours of listening, practicing, and training her voice. Learning how different singers shape vowels, use breath, and control vibrato. Studying accents, emotional delivery, and stage presence. This was not luck. This was mastery. One of the most inspiring parts of her story is how humble she remained. In interviews, she spoke about loving music since childhood. About practicing in her room, copying voices for fun, never imagining it could take her to a stage like this. She talked about the artists who inspired her and how honored she felt to celebrate them through impressions. That humility made people love her even more. By the time the live shows arrived, she was no longer just a contestant. She was a favorite. Someone audiences rooted for. Someone people wanted to see succeed, not just because she was talented, but because she brought happiness. Her performances reminded viewers why talent shows exist. Not for drama, not for controversy, but for moments that unite people through awe and appreciation. Even those who usually criticize impressionists had to admit something special was happening. Vocal experts praised her technique. Musicians admired her musicality. Casual viewers simply enjoyed being entertained. Win or lose, her impact was already secured. She had changed the conversation. She raised the bar for impressionists everywhere. And she proved that one voice, when trained with passion and purpose, can become many. Today, years after that unforgettable audition, people still talk about her performance. They still share clips. They still argue about which impression was the best. And many still call her the greatest female impressionist ever to appear on Britain's Got Talent. Not because of one moment, but because of what she represented. Courage, creativity, and the power of believing in your own unique gift. If this story teaches us anything, it is that talent does not need permission. It only needs a chance. And when preparation meets opportunity, magic happens. So next time you doubt yourself, remember this performance. Remember how one woman walked onto a stage with nothing but her voice and walked off having made history. As the competition moved forward, something interesting began to happen. People were no longer just watching her to see how accurate the impressions were. They were watching to see what surprise she would bring next. Every appearance became an event. Fans speculated online, guessing which voices she might perform, replaying her previous auditions, and challenging each other to spot every detail she nailed perfectly. When she stepped onto the stage for the next round, the atmosphere was different. This time, the crowd already believed in her. The judges smiled with excitement instead of curiosity. And that pressure, the kind that breaks many performers, seemed to fuel her instead. She opened with a soft, emotional voice. One that instantly filled the room with warmth. The audience fell silent, listening carefully. Then, in a smooth and almost playful transition, she shifted into a completely different style. Stronger, bolder, more dramatic. The contrast was stunning. It felt like watching multiple concerts compressed into a single performance. What amazed people most was how natural it all felt. There was no struggle in her face, no visible effort. Her voice moved effortlessly, as if each impression lived inside her, waiting for the right moment to come out. This level of control is something even professional singers spend a lifetime trying to achieve. The judges' reactions said everything. One leaned back in their chair, laughing in disbelief. Another whispered something under their breath, clearly stunned. By the time the performance ended, the audience was already on its feet, cheering before the final note faded. Behind the scenes, producers and vocal coaches started calling her performance a masterclass. Not just in impressions, but in stagecraft. She knew exactly when to build tension, when to surprise, and when to let the audience breathe. That understanding is rare, especially in a competition setting. As the live shows progressed, her confidence grew stronger. She began interacting more with the crowd, adding humor, emotion, and personality between impressions. She was no longer just showcasing talent. She was entertaining at the highest level. Social media continued to explode. Clips of her performances were shared worldwide. People from different countries recognized voices from their own cultures and felt instantly connected. That global appeal made her stand out even more. She was not limited by language or genre. Her talent crossed borders effortlessly. One of the most powerful moments came when she chose to honor legendary female artists who paved the way before her. Voices that defined generations. As she moved through each impression, there was a sense of respect and admiration in every note. It was not imitation for laughs. It was a tribute. Many viewers admitted they felt emotional watching her. Not just because of the music, but because of what she represented. A reminder that dedication, when combined with joy, can create something truly special. Even fellow contestants spoke about her with admiration. Some said watching her perform inspired them to push harder. Others said they felt lucky just to share the stage with someone so gifted. That kind of respect from peers speaks louder than any judge's comment. As the finals approached, the question on everyone's mind was simple. Could anyone stop her? Every performance felt like a winning performance. Every appearance raised the standard even higher. When she walked on stage for her final performance, there was a sense of calm about her. No nerves. No fear. Just focus. She delivered a performance that brought together everything she had shown throughout the competition. Technical perfection, emotional depth, and pure entertainment. The final applause felt endless. The judges struggled to find words. Sometimes, when something is truly great, language fails. And this was one of those moments. Regardless of the final result, her journey had already made history. She inspired countless young singers, especially girls, to explore their voices, to experiment, and to believe that impressions could be art, not just comedy. Today, her legacy lives on through millions of views, countless reactions, and endless admiration. She proved that one voice can carry many stories, many emotions, and many dreams. And that is why, when people talk about the greatest female impressionist ever on Britain's Got Talent, her name always comes up. Not because she tried to be the best, but because she simply shared who she was. And if you enjoyed reliving this incredible journey, make sure you stay connected for more unforgettable talent stories like this one. Because the world is full of hidden stars, and sometimes all it takes is one moment to let them shine.